Hello, everyone, and welcome to our lesson study today. We are going to be talking about family and all of the different English names that have to do with our families. Let's get started. Now, as I was thinking about how I would teach family names, I thought maybe the best way, the easiest way, the most interesting way would be to tell you and introduce you to my family. And so I would like to introduce you to my wife, TK. This is my wife, TK. Her real name is Chu Con. She's from Vietnam. And people here in Canada, where we're living now, have a little difficult time pronouncing her name. So she's just made it easy for everybody to remember and be able to pronounce. And so her name, she goes by TK. She answers to TK. And many of you may already know her because she also teaches English. And you may have seen her on YouTube. She's a YouTube star. But she is my wife. And, you know, over the years, as I've traveled around Southeast Asia and actually lived in Vietnam for about 5 years, I have found that at least the Southeast Asian language groups seem to have a hard time saying wife. I have found that people seem to have a hard time finishing the word. Instead of saying wife with an F sound, wife, they usually just end up saying Y. Y. Instead of wife. They need to finish up. I remember when I first started filming in Cambodia, I would hear people say things like, my wala rai. And because I was new to languages in Asia, I didn't quite catch what they were saying. My wai lai rai. Well, it turns out what they were saying is my wife likes rice. My wife likes rice is what they were trying to say in their broken English. But they weren't finishing up. They needed to finish the words for beginning travelers, at least, to understand. My wai lai rai. So maybe listen to yourself as you repeat this word, my wife. Make sure you're finishing up. My wife. TK is my wife. What is the name of your wife? I'm talking to the guys now, right? What is the name of your wife? Say it. My wife is, and then say your wife's name. TK is my wife. I am her husband. Husband. I am her husband. Together, we have 2 children. We've had 2 babies. One is a boy. His name is Joshua. Joshua is our son. Joshua is our boy. He is our son. And we also have a girl. Her name is An. And she is our daughter. Daughter. She is our daughter. And they call TK their mother. TK is their mother. mother, or mum. Mum. I am their father. Father. Or easier, dad. I am their dad. In fact, there are many different types of words for both mother and father, and I'm sure it's the same in your language as well. In fact, I kind of have a theory that the short, easy words for mother and father, at least in English, and I'm curious to know if it's this way in other languages as well. Maybe you can let me know in the comments below. But I kind of have a theory that in almost any language, the short version for mother or father comes from the syllables that babies speak when they're first starting to speak. You probably know, if you've had a baby, that they are often saying something like mum, 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 mum. And of course the mother is probably going to say, well, she must be calling me. And that's probably how we get our English name Mum. It's spelt differently in different English-speaking countries. Some call it M-U-M, mum, or also it's seen as mom, M-O-M. And it's the same. You've probably heard a baby say da, 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 da. And of course the father is going to say, well, baby must be calling me, right? And so I kind of think that's how we got our English name Dad, for the father of the baby. Let me know in the comments below if it's the same in your language, if the common name for mother and father are close to some of those one-syllable verbalations that babies make. I'd be curious to know if it's the same in your language. Mum, 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 dad, 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 dad. But the more formal name, I am their father. Father. TK is their mother. Mother. Now, I have 2 daughters from a previous marriage. Their names are Michelle and Sarah. They would be half sisters to Joshua and An-An. Half sisters. Did we even talk about the relationship between Joshua and An-An? An-An is Joshua's sister. Sister. And Joshua is An-An's brother. Brother. We'll have to put all of these names in a short vocabulary lesson for you, where we're just going through the names, because there's a lot of them, isn't there? So, sister, and my 2 older daughters, Sarah and Michelle, are half sisters to Joshua and An-An. Now, my older children have also had babies. They're not babies anymore. In fact, let's introduce you to 2 of my grandchildren. Grandchildren. We had children. Joshua and An-An are my children, but I now have grandchildren. Grandchildren, because they are the children of my children. So it's one step down, and we say grandchildren. So I'd like to have you meet Emma. Emma is my granddaughter. She's my grandchild, but if we're talking about her as a female, we will say she is my granddaughter. Granddaughter. She's my grandchild. She is one of my grandchildren. If we think about all of the grandchildren that I have, she's my grandchild and she's my granddaughter. Granddaughter. And I'd also like you to meet her brother. His name is Owen. Owen. You can see they're not babies anymore. They are growing up. In fact, Owen recently had his 18th birthday, and so we now consider him to be a man. And Emma is 20, recently turned 20, and so they are not babies anymore. Now, they call me Grandpa. Grandpa. That's kind of an informal way of saying it in English. The more formal way would be grandfather. He's my grandfather. Grandfather. So we have father, but we just add a grand in front of it. Grandfather. It's one step down in fatherhood. Grandfather. Now, if Emma and Owen were to have children, and I'm sure they will, I hope they will, not right away, give them some years yet, but when they have babies, then I will be a great-grandfather. The babies, once they start talking, probably won't call me great-grandpa, but that would be the formal relationship. I would be their great-grandfather. They would probably just call me something endearing like Bubba. That's what Emma called me for so many years when she was young, Bubba. And a lot of times children come up with special names for their daddy and for their grandpa. And but we're teaching you the more formal names in this lesson. Perhaps in another lesson we'll get into all of the colloquial names that have come up, so that when you hear people talking about grandpa or just pa, you'll know what they're talking about. Pa is one way that people talk about their father, or they talk to their father. Pa, can I go out tonight? Pa. So there's lots of names that we could talk about, but we'll maybe leave that for another lesson. I want to talk to you about our relationship with siblings for a moment. I have 3 siblings, 2 brothers and 1 sister. So when I was growing up, there was 2 other boys in our family. Maybe I'll introduce you to them. One is Dave, and then my other brother is Russ. Dave and Russ are my brothers. Brothers. And then Joanne is my sister. Sister. Joanne is my sister. And they are my siblings. Siblings. Siblings refers to any child within a family relationship, an immediate family. All of the children in one family are related as siblings. We have brothers, sisters, but if you want to talk about the whole group, these are my siblings. This is TK's mother. She would be my mother-in-law. Mother-in-law. When I married TK, I got another mother. But we call it a mother through marriage. a mother-in-law. TK has a brother. His name is Coy. Coy is my brother-in-law. Brother-in-law. He's my brother because I married TK. So through marriage, Coy is my brother. He is my brother-in-law. Coy's wife is Foon, and she is my sister-in-law. Sister-in-law. They are the uncle and auntie, or aunt, of Joshua and On. Joshua and On would call Coy their uncle. Uncle Coy. Aunt Foon. So that's what Joshua and On call Coy and Foon. What do Coy and Foon call Joshua and On? Well, Joshua would be their nephew. Nephew. And On would be their niece. Their niece. So those are most of the names for close family relationships. Now we can talk just a little bit more about more distant family relationships. My mother had 2 sisters and a brother, and they, the 2 women, were my aunties. This is my auntie, June. June. And June had 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. And we would call them my cousins. Cousins. Doesn't matter if they are a boy or a girl. We can use cousins for both. They are my cousins. Bill, one of June's sons, is my cousin. Does he kind of look like me? We have kind of a special relationship because my mother and Bill's mother married 2 boys from the same family. 2 boys from one family married 2 girls from another family. And so the children that they have actually share more genetics than the average cousin. And in English, we have a special name for that. It's called double cousins. Double cousins. When 2 boys from one family marry 2 girls from another family, the children that they have are actually closer, almost like brothers, right, with Bill. We're double cousins. But in a normal family relationship, they would be cousins. How many cousins do you have? Have you ever counted them up? I know that in some countries there are very large families, and when you start adding up all of the children that one family has had, it can come to quite a lot. And so let me know in the comments below how many cousins you have. Cousins. What you might want to do is take a big piece of paper. You can almost get a poster board for this activity. And that is to make a family tree. A family tree. Do you have this in your language, to make a family tree? And that's where you put your name, your wife's name, your children, your brother and sister, and put them all on a big chart. Some people might even want to include their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents and build a whole big, almost like a wall of family tree. Some people these days just like to do it on their computer. There's software programs and websites that you can use to help build your family tree. But if you do this with your family members, make your own family tree, and when you do that, make the family tree using the English names. Maybe you want to use your language as well so that they're together, and every time you look at it, you can be learning the English names for all of the different types of family relationships. We've learned a lot today, haven't we? We've learned a lot of different family names. And so we'll have to create maybe just a short vocabulary lesson where we just say all of the names, and you can practice saying them one right after the other. And then maybe come back to this lesson so that you make sure that you're connecting the right English words with the right relationship, right? Okay, well, I hope that helps you know and understand the English names when you're now talking to your friends and they ask you about, they'll often ask you, do you have any siblings? And now that you know the meaning for siblings, you know that they're asking, do you have any brothers or sisters in your family? Do you have any brothers or sisters? Do you have any siblings? That's what they're asking. Do you have a brother, a sister? Tell me about your siblings. In conversation, they might ask you, do you have any children? And now you know you can say, yes, I have a daughter and 2 sons. I have 1 daughter and 2 sons, or whatever you have. You know how to answer the question now. If you're a little older like me, in conversation, people might say, do you have any grandchildren? Grandchildren? Well, now you know how to answer that. Yes, I have 5 grandchildren now, and another on the way, you might say. Now, people wouldn't normally ask, how many husbands do you have, right? In some countries, it's okay to ask, how many wives do you have? In many of the countries that I visit, men often do have 2 or 3 wives. And so when I'm interviewing them, I might ask them about their family. How many wives do you have? But it's very unusual to have it the other way around. So when I'm interviewing a woman in some of these countries, I might ask them, and so how many husbands do you have? And of course it's a big joke, ha 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 ha, because it's just something that is very unlikely to happen, to have a woman to have more than 1 husband. Now, before I let you go, I wanted to tell you about some exciting news here at Study English. TK and I have launched a website. It's live. It's a lot of people are already signing up, and I want to put the website address at the bottom of the screen here and invite you to come check it out. I think you'll find it very interesting. You know, YouTube is a really great place for entertainment, right? You can see some wonderful, funny videos, great videos on news and other interesting topics, but it's really not the best place, we have found over the years, it's not the best place to learn or study, because there's so many distractions, right? There's distracting advertising, there's distracting videos, suggested along the side that are tempting to run off and see. And so we wanted to build something better for our students. We want to help students who are serious about learning English. And so we've built this app and website that you can go to, sign up for, and there all of our lessons are nicely organized. You won't have any trouble finding the next lesson. We find students when they're on our YouTube channel, I really like your lesson on idioms. Do you have any more? And of course, we have over 50 lessons on idioms. They just can't find them on YouTube with the way it's organized. But on the website and the app, you'll be able to easily find the next lesson, and you can really focus on your goals of becoming fluent in English. And in addition to the website that we have, the URL listed on the bottom here, something very exciting is we are also bringing our lessons to a phone app. You can now study either with TK or myself on your smartphone. Doesn't matter whether it's Android or Apple. Very soon, I think it's another 2 or 3 weeks before it's approved by Apple and Android, you'll be able to download the apps and study with us right on your smartphone. And I think you'll find that very helpful. And no matter where you sign up, whether it's on the app or the website, you'll be able to study at both places. And so we'll let you know more information about that as it all comes together. But you can go ahead. I invite you to check out this website right now, and you can see what it's going to be like. You can even sign up. We have a special offer right now for those people who are helping us get this launched. We're giving a very special price. We're calling them charter members or foundation members. These are the people that help get an organization off the ground. They become a founding member, and you can become a founding member of Study English. And so I'm very excited to have you become a founding member. Check it out, studyenglishwithus.ca. We'll hope to see you soon, and we'll also catch you in the next lesson. So long for now.